Today we're talking about how to build unbreakable mental strength as an INFJ. We as INFJs are known to be mentally strong to begin with, right? That has a lot to do with the way our cognitive functions are set up, this combination of NINTI, the fact that we're not so concerned with what happens within that box, right? We can think outside of the box and not get ashamed of it. But how are we going to use this to our advantage? Because very often these traits exist within us, but we're not really tapping into that potential. We're not building on that mental strength that we have such capacity for. Today we're going to talk about how to do that, how to tap into your potential and really expand it the best way we possibly can. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you haven't done this so far, to download the poster to the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. And if you want to take it to the next level, then stay tuned because I have been working on something very special for you. It's a home study program. It's an audio course. I did a survey a couple of months ago and really tried to find out how I can help you the most. So it all drops hopefully in May. So sign up below to get notified when it goes live so you get access to all the perks that come with the first launch. All you need to know you can find in the links in the description. So let's talk about the INFJ mental strength. You've heard this probably. This is something I've been talking about for a long time, and there are other resources that go into this of the INFJ's mental strength, that sometimes we don't have physical strength as much as other types. That doesn't mean we cannot endure physical difficulties, but the point is we're much more likely to go into our head. We're not the person who will continuously push themselves physically. It's just not the way the INFJ is set up. But on the other hand, we can take a lot of mental pain. And this actually manifests in most INFJ's life as something negative because it comes out as, okay, I'm sacrificing of myself as much as I possibly can to uplift others. I make it happen with the least amount I can. I live in the smallest space. I deny myself any dreams. I deny myself any desires. I can survive in really hard circumstances because I've taught myself that this is the way to tap into my mental strength. This is part of who I am. And you have to think about it. Those qualities that we do have, we want to bring them out somehow. It's just part of nature. If you're really good at something, you want to make the most out of it. And the first go-to step is exactly that. Sacrificing what we are doing, sacrificing giving to ourselves, all of those things while staying within the box. Let's really look at it from that metaphor of living within the box and living outside of the box. So our default state is living within the box. That means living at our default state of what we think is going to make other people comfortable. It also means that we don't do things that really force other people to judge us. We don't do things that are considered out of the norm. And I know that INFJs are known to do things that are different, that really scare other people or make them uncomfortable. But think of it that we're still doing them within that box. There's still part of us that tries to fit within that narrative. Because if we step out of that box, that really means a different kind of life. And when you've done that step. Because once you do this, there is no going back. Once you step out of that box, you actually say, I really am okay with having other people's judgment. I'm really okay with other people maybe feeling bad about themselves because I'm taking a step forward towards my life. And this is a threshold that we very often don't cross, although we know we could. And that is actually what's going to make the difference between you tapping into this mental strength in an unbreakable way or not. So first, a disclaimer here, this isn't something that, is so obvious and why are we not stepping out of it and why is this like such a big problem? Really think of it as something that is deep hidden within our soul. It's really something that is there to protect us. Because if you step out of that box, if you do something out of the ordinary in such an extent that you feel you start creating your INFJ epic life, it's going to trigger a lot of abandonment issues. It's going to trigger a lot of, points that are all about ego loss. And this can be a hard process. That's why I'm saying, start really easily. Download the poster, look at those things, push yourself in all of those areas, because those things are going to trigger parts of you that you are afraid of. But they're going to trigger it in such a way that gets you out of your comfort zone, but doesn't overwhelm you. And then it's important to understand there isn't like this one box that everybody is in, and now you're going to find like your way out of that box. The box that I'm referring to only exists in your mind. The box I had built for myself, the box that I'm still creating for myself, because I don't think we're ever going to get to a place where you say, oh, I'm completely free out of my own judgments and out of my own self-sabotaging behaviors and out of any actions I take in order to fulfill my need for inclusion, right? I'm not that naive. I know that we all have certain things that still exist within us, but I can definitely tell I'm way more free than I used to be. And I can also tell you I'm way stronger mentally than I used to. Although I know I felt, okay, I'm sacrificing so much, I'm doing so much for others, I'm really mentally tough. But still, I was only giving myself permission to expand this strength within that box that I had created at that moment. So let's get practical here. How do you actually step out of that box? How do you feel like, okay, now things are changing? I know that something is different. Well, we have to really think about how our mind is set up. One of the things that really makes the INFJ mentally strong is the fact that we don't feel external judgment as strongly as others might. And please hear me out, because I hear so many INFJs who say, I have all these ideas, I have so much I want to share, I see the world differently, but people are going to judge me. But still, you've come to the conclusion that there is something that you would like to express. You have been able to make that conscious. Another person whose mindset is so built on this social inclusion factor doesn't even think that they're not tapping into their authentic self, that there's part of themselves that they want to bring out. Those things are not conscious yet, because making that conscious, really bringing that out, would just evoke so much fear and anxiety of social abandonment and all of those things that can hurt us mentally that their mind is trying to protect them from. So I want you to know the fact that you're already aware that there's a part of you that you would like to tap into, but you haven't done that so far. You may not know exactly what it is, but you know that it exists. And we know a lot of people who are not aware of that and are still bitter and unhappy with their life. We at least get that part, right? So what do we do with that information? We recognize that if I can think it, I can create it. I wouldn't have those thoughts if I wasn't able to make it happen. And it all comes really down to stepping out of that norm and knowing that you're going to have to face judgment. And it might look like you're facing judgment from others, but what you're actually doing is you're facing judgment you have towards yourself. Because if somebody would come up to you and would say something like, oh, why do you have green hair? You're like, I don't have green hair, so I don't care. Like, this has nothing to do with me. You might see me as somebody who has green hair, but I don't, so not my thing. Or somebody could talk about, okay, why are you wearing like a black shirt? I don't have a story around wearing a black shirt, so it doesn't really affect me. But if somebody has a judgment towards you that taps into one of your personal fears, like, oh, you're being selfish, oh, you're doing something that makes you weird and unlovable, it might trigger you in a different way. So remember that the judgments you receive from other people that you are aware of are just a reflection of your own judgments. So what is the path? We want to build our mental strength to such a point that we can continuously face those judgments. And because of that, we allow ourselves to step out of that norm over and over again. So we actually step out of our current box into a bigger one. We're living outside of the box in terms of what the old box was, but of course there's a bigger box again, right? There's always more you can uncover. There are always more self-sabotaging behaviors that don't allow us to be the most authentic selves that we can be. And since we as INFJs have the mental capacity to face those judgments, let's make that happen. So I'm always telling everybody, don't expect it to be comfortable. Of course it will be uncomfortable, but what makes you uncomfortable today won't make you uncomfortable tomorrow. Once you step out of your current norm, of that current box, once you face the fears that you're having of expanding yourself, you actually sit with this feeling. Some people say, okay, it's not enough to just sit with it. I have to do EFT tapping. I have to do forgiveness work, whatever might work for you. Most of the time, action, particularly as an INFJ, will make the biggest difference. So you do something that gets you out of your comfort zone, but that doesn't overwhelm you. So let's say you have all of these ideas and you want to bring them out in a YouTube video or in a podcast, or you want to write a book, or you want to write a Facebook post, or you want to say something to somebody, and people are going to look at you and are going to have some kind of judgment towards it. Do it anyway, but do it in a way where you say, yes, it's going to make me uncomfortable, but I can take it. I can take it. This is not going too far. Every single time you're able to do this, you see, oh, I survived. I was able to bring out this part of me to the outside. And through that, I built acceptance, because now I cannot hide it anymore. The things that we're most afraid of showing to others, we're keeping hidden. The moment it's open for everybody to see, it really hits you, it hurts you, but you have to feel it in order to heal it. So by making those choices continuously, you're allowing yourself to grow more and more into your most authentic self. And at the same time, you're building this unbreakable mental strength. Because the more often you do this process, the better you know, I can handle this. I can handle the next uncomfortable situation that comes my way. And I'm not waiting for it to get comfortable before I take a step. I will always take a step towards the uncomfortable. Because guess what? I'm mentally strong enough to handle it. There's this saying of, okay, why did I have to cross the river? Because your enemies can't swim. Your enemies are your old belief systems, are your fears, are your inner critics. You are crossing that river, and that is uncomfortable. It's hard, but guess what? You can do hard things. And when you're willing to do things that others won't, that the old version of you wouldn't dare to do, then you grow. You build that mental strength, and I can guarantee you feel more life. You feel like you're tapping into your INFJ epic life, and everything starts making sense more and more. You got this. Just stop waiting for it to get comfortable. And remember, it's not going to feel this uncomfortable forever. The first step is always the hardest, and the more often you do it, the easier it gets, and the more exponential your growth actually becomes. Remember, if you want some more guidelines where to tap into those areas of your life, where you can push yourself, and download the poster to the 5 pillars, and definitely sign up to get notified when the home study program goes live, so you get all the information and all the perks that come with it. All the information, like always, you find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video Why the INFJ is Driven to Do What Others Won't.